Oh, you know Vegas loves the drama. So today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm with gal about town, Patricia Haddad Bennett, and my co-host, Dayvid Figler, and we're rounding up the fights, the rivalries, the all-around beefs that have defined Las Vegas in 2025. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is beefing about. Dayvid and Patricia, give me, in your opinion, the biggest, juiciest fight or rivalry that our town has seen this year.
All right. Number one, juiciest.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with the food influencers versus the local restaurants for the juice. So recently there was an incident where someone went to a local downtown restaurant and for some reason, it didn't believe that she was not eating salmon and was indeed eating steelhead trout, which also has pink meat. Imagine multiple types of fish look like salmon. Can't imagine.
Girl, it's not even trout is salmon. Salmon is trout.
Did
They're
she
part
do
of the same
genetic
species.
testing? I mean,
well, she posted and was like, oh my gosh, this restaurant doesn't even know what salmon is.
Oh, that was Carson Kitchen.
Yes, it was.
I remember that one.
We calling it out by name. Yikes.
And everyone came to their defense, though.
They did indeed. And the food influencers did come to their defense and say Carson Kitchen is amazing, which it is. And Carson Kitchen has been impacted by all of the construction, and then I'll put an ellipsis on that because that may or may not be another one of my beefs. All I know is she was very incredulous about the whole thing. But then also, I don't know if you guys remember, over the summer, there was a YouTuber that said he was kicked out of a bakery for being a white man, even though he didn't purchase anything. He didn't accept the sample that the owner had offered him. And then it got busy, and he offered to move to a different table once he was doing his YouTube stream. And the owner was like, yeah, that would be great. And he's like, hey guys, I'm getting kicked out right now. Make sure that you comment on, this restaurant's Yelp or whatever. And they were getting barraged. Yes.
I'm going to call this all manufactured beef. This is beyond beef.
But it's beef that hurts these restaurants.
Yeah, but it's I think that the influencers do it to get more eyes and hits. They're trying to create beefs with all these different people.
They do.
My beef is with them for doing that.
We could have a bigger conversation about what that means and
meta beef.
The economy that is created by influencers and how it used to be.
Correct.
They used to have more financial support and now they don't. Is their role important? And are they a restaurant reviewer? There's so much.
Well, and should they have to disclose when they're being paid for a promo or have some, interest in the business, right? These are I don't know, maybe my social media looks different than your guys's, but this has been big in my world a little bit. So I would say if I had to say juicy beef, that would be one.
Are there any food influencer beefs over beefs? Just over salmon?
I'm sure there are beefs.
I got you
beefs.
there.
Okay, we'll get a beef. David, you got a beef beef?
I don't have
He's got a rare beef.
Oh, okay. David, what's your juiciest beef?
I have so many to pick from, and I hope we get to a bunch of them. But I think that the juiciest beef of the year is one that is cumulatively getting bigger and bigger, but maybe also smaller. And that's F1 versus the world. Now, on F1 side, you've got F1, people who love F1, F1, the Formula One racing that goes in circles, vroom, vroom, vroom.
The European vroom vrooms.
Right.
Over vrooms.
Correct. That uses all of our prime real estate for their 3-day thing that takes months for them to prep. And the LVCVA. Those are the people on the one side of the beef. And on the other side of the beef is basically anyone local who drives anywhere near the Strip, tourists who wish that they had unobstructed views of the Strip stuff that they came to see in the first place, and nearby businesses, though it seems money might have squashed some of that beefery for this year.
there were some lawsuits. The lawsuits settled. F1 LVCVA
I think it
paid
did.
them off?
We asked F1 on this podcast, what's the status of all these lawsuits? And then all of a sudden legal came in. A voice that we didn't know came on and basically said, oh, we're not talking about that stuff.
And these are largely
the man behind the
restaurants. Yeah, these are largely restaurants and
gas stations,
casino. Yep. Who people can't access their business, even if they're casinos, because they shut down the strip between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Prime gambling o'clock.
The Ellis Island one was really interesting because they're back in Love Fest with F1 and they're doing viewing places. But according to the lawsuit, F1 was literally blocking people in so they couldn't escape from the casino. I mean, it's one thing that you're blocking entrance, but to block people, especially employees, to be able to leave, that was pretty cruddy. But I guess money solves all beefs.
And you know what? Ellis Island, known for their beefs. They sell some amazing barbecue.
There you go.
The prime rib deal. Let's just make this about beefs and a roundup of beefs.
So I think that's the big juicy one is that F1 continues and during a year that, we re-upped to keep having them come back. So yeah, very strange beef.
So what about a funny or the most ridiculous beef the city has had?
All right. I'm going to file this one under funny and ridiculous.
Okay.
Was the Midtown development versus the cool kids in the Arts District.
That was on my list.
Ultimately, the cool kids prevailed. But what a silly beef that was. So, the Arts District is in its sort of nascent 3.0. I don't even know. It just keeps coming and going over the last couple decades. At any rate, it's kind of in full throttle right now and new spots are popping up all the time. And then this area around what is now going to be known as the former English Hotel, down just a little bit, I would say slightly north of the Arts District.
These new Midtown condos that are being built.
Yeah, I mean, they're developing condos and they have some restaurants and businesses and stuff. Anyway, long story short, they kind of petitioned the city council.
The owner of Midtown condos demanded that there be no noise after 10 p.m. Which not just the cool kids were upset about, but all of the bars who all have outdoor
some of
music.
The bars. I think some of the bars felt like this was a beef that they didn't want to pick sides on, so they kind of stayed quiet. I don't know. Patricia, what was your take on all that?
I mean, my take on that was that it was silly. And, what is I hear some people say, keep downtown gritty, and which always makes me laugh. But
pretty polished at this point.
It's pretty polished, right?
The grit has been used to grind the stone into precious gems.
That's beautiful, Sarah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's music venues. Fun things are happening down there. And if you're trying to move into the fun area, but then hamper or damper the fun, I mean, sounds like you're not that much fun.
You're building housing and you're concerned about the noise, but the housing is in the Arts District. And this is, in theory, what people are moving down here for.
Right.
However, we did that interview and she kept referring to the neighborhood around where she's building the Midtown condos as that there was nothing there. That there was abandoned buildings and the unhoused, but that's not the word she used. Repeatedly, nothing there. And I have to say, you could go back, look up the interview. What I got off of is am I confused? Is this building not where I think it is? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh no, it's by Bungalow Coffee and that salon and Nevada Humanities and the Las Vegas Theater. It's in on a very populated block. So scandal.
I mean, it's not the most populated block, but yeah, I mean, that's my neighborhood. I live there, but I get where she was coming from, and yet very tone deaf to the neighborhood.
Okay. And it's not the most populated block in the world.
For some reason, people always think when they move to an area, or I'm just going to use it, they moved to downtown and nothing happened downtown before they got there. And then once they got there, everything changed and it was better before, right? Yeah.
I'm just going to say this. When I moved downtown 25 years ago, there was plenty already happening. It's cyclical. It goes up and down. That's all.
Yes.
Nothing says 'tis the season in Las Vegas like the Magical Forest at Opportunity Village. In its 33rd season, tickets are on sale now, and they include unlimited rides, mini golf, the Magical Forest Holiday Lights walking path, and trips on the Forest Express train. You'll see Santa there and have an opportunity to get gifts, goodies, and treats throughout the season at the holiday shop, with a beer garden open select nights for the 21 and over crowd. Tickets for the Magical Forest are on sale at www.magicalforest.com. As one of the primary fundraisers for Opportunity Village, attending the Magical Forest directly supports people with disabilities in Southern Nevada. The Magical Forest at Opportunity Village is open every evening from December 4th through the 7th, the 11th through the 24th, and the 26th through the 31st. Get more details and purchase tickets at www.magicalforest.com and stay updated by following the event's social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Magical Forest OV.
All right, Patricia, do you have a ridiculous beef?
I have a silly beef, which was the pool builders and home developers v. water conservationist folks and the legislature. So the legislature limited the total square footage of the size of a pool to 600 square feet, if I'm not mistaken, which sounds like a pretty decent sized pool to me. But there was a lot of fights, a lot of conversations at the ledge, a lot of conversations at the local municipalities with water and all of that to say, how dare you limit the size of my recreational pool in my home? And this is residential only, obviously, which is like another piece where it's only residential that's limited. And so obviously, the Bellagio fountains are not taken into consideration or stuff that was previously built.
I didn't even know we were building new pools anymore. That
feels
like such a thing of the past. I mean, I have to say, compare flying into Las Vegas, especially at night when you can see the pools aglow. Today, compared to 10 or 15 years ago, like I just see less pools. It feels like people are getting a little more hip to water usage.
Interesting. Well, they're gonna be teeny tiny pools these days. So
less breeding ground when they go bankrupt or foreclosed for mosquitoes.
Right in 2008. I'm sure that is part of the reduction of pools. Listen. Every place I've lived, except for the one I live in currently, was less than 600 square feet. So if I can live in it, you can swim in it.
There you go. That should have been the tagline. They should have called you first.
Okay, well, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up what was happening in my own Henderson City Council. Councilmember Carrie Cox was recording a conversation with her fellow council member, Monica Larson, and she was doing that by hiding behind a curtain. And she was discovered as she was hidden behind the curtain.
It's all alleged because there's now like a criminal indictment involved in this.
Mm-hmm. People allegedly saw their little feetsies. Yeah, these are criminal charges. You can't record people without their knowledge in the state of Nevada. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Heads up, everybody.
The shenanigans on the Henderson City Council, I feel like they looked over at Las Vegas City Council and they're like, oh, you guys think you're beefing?
Hold my beer. Hold my beef.
Like,
hold my beef.
We can do that. Yeah.
It's crazy because, again, Henderson seems to run pretty smoothly as a city. We have our wants met out here. It seems pretty calm. I'm just saying, Patricia's pulling their hair in the street. You know what I mean?
That way.
Yeah, they're fixing our sewers. Like, lots is getting done down here. Finally, I feel like Townsite hasn't gotten a ton of love, but, they want to gentrify it.
But lest we forget, at the Las Vegas City Council, Victoria Seaman was so marginalized and like that she had to take to going down the public comment to be able to even speak at the council meeting. And she apparently got so steamed that she just left the state. She got appointed by Trump to do something in the administration in Colorado. And she's like, okay, I don't need to feud anymore. I'm just going to move on.
Well, is there a beef that really defined 2025 in Las Vegas, either because it's so of our moment in 25 or because it really has shaped the outcomes for people in the Valley?
Mine is locals versus the resorts, with the locals basically bullying the resorts into creating staycation packages. And dinner promos and removing parking fees.
It's absolutely happened.
That was a collective effort. I feel like we all weighed in on that.
I love it.
And it made a real change.
I love going to the local deals tab at Red Rock and being like, what do you have for me?
Yeah. Well, and you get a little, if you got a player's card, you get a benefit here and there. Yeah. But I mean, for them to all come out collectively and be like, all right, you guys, we're putting this out for a week. So get on top of it or don't.
Save us.
Yeah. Seriously. But obviously, as we all know, the current federal administration's policies are impacting tourism. Mm-hmm. People have less money in their pockets. Mm-hmm. Our poutine-loving neighbors to the north, maybe they put a little beef on their poutine, aren't coming down. And so, obviously Vegas tourism is being impacted. We've all talked about that. But like, yeah, I think the locals being able to use their collective voice to let them know that this is what needs to happen was probably one of the things that makes me giggle at the end of the year.
I was recently coming out of a parking garage with out of town friends. I don't remember what casino, but my Nevada ID wasn't scanning. And my friend was like, it's fine, I'll just pay for it. And I was like, no.
Also, it's like $40, brother.
Yeah. It's also my right for putting up with all the tourists and being a smiling host of the city is that I better get that free parking if I'm promised the free parking. Oh, good one, Patricia. All right, David, what you got for me?
All right, so kind of a defining feud that is existing within our valley borders right now. I have to choose between two, and they're kind of related. So the first one I'm going to throw out is the Boring Company versus all regulators, and now the fire department too. So the Boring Company, of course, famously is digging under our ground. No environmental impact study has been done. They keep getting busted for all sorts of violations, many of which were first reported by us and ProPublica, dumping toxic waters or untreated waters, at least, into our water source, being way down there in our water table, having these like green ponds just sitting. And then when local news comes to look at it, they like put up tarps so you can't see it and try to intimidate them to leave. I mean,
I heard about the sludge pool. Do you think it's 600 square feet or smaller?
Exactly.
Good question. Let's get them on that. It's like how they got Al Capone for taxes. We're going to get them on the size of their sludge pool.
I like that.
So, but that's not like maybe the defining beef, because maybe it is that, regulations don't matter anymore. But the one that, speaking of the LVCVA, their beef with Vital Vegas struck me. Vital Vegas, who is a frequent guest here, and came on this podcast with another guest, a filmmaker, a local filmmaker, to discuss, the efficacy of the LVCVA's tourism campaign. There was a commercial that came on, and none of us locally were very impressed.
Wait, what's the new tagline? Fabulous happens here. Welcome to Fabulous.
Welcome to Fabulous, right?
Yeah.
So at their next meeting, at the LVCVA's next meeting after the ad campaign came out, they just dumped on, and not by name, but clearly by designation and description, they just dumped on Vital Vegas saying, we're trying to save the city, and yet we're very disappointed that certain local loud voices criticize us and aren't on board. It would be nice if we all rallied to save the city. And I think that's that kind of beef, like, we're beyond criticism. You're not supposed to point out that marketing might have flaws or might not resonate in certain sectors or might have been done better, is really the attitude that pervades 2025.
Well, and they're they're a quasi-public agency? I don't even know how that works.
They're funded by public funds, and they have a huge, what appears to be slush fund with a bunch of rubber stamps from the various municipalities. I don't even know, man. I mean, I think they're probably a little pissed off at us if we even register on their radar. I get it. They're great at what they do, but what they do, I think, is only good for Strip City, for the resort corridor.
Well, and like, look, no question they play an important role, but also like, bro, you're a part of this community, so are we. Like, what? Let's figure it out, move on, and go on to the next thing that everyone's going to have criticisms about.
Really, we should, honestly, they should just revisit what happens here. Everybody still remembers that shit. So, like, just bring it back. Be a little lazy about it. Work the first time, do her again.
Yeah. The most cringe thing, like a national speaker will say at any conference or talk or anything.
They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I want to tell you, ... go F yourself, sir.
Yes.
I mean, that campaign was created before the age of social media, so maybe it doesn't work anymore. What happens in Vegas gets broadcast across everyone's Instagram forever.
The flip side of now the trope, of course.
But I will never get tired of drunk people videos of drunk people slipping on the escalators and just getting slowly dumped down the bottom. Very funny. Okay, so rapid fire, are there any last beefs you'd like to shout out? What beefs are we missing?
I think we're missing Steve Yeager, the Speaker of the House, and the Democrat progressives out of the special session. They did everything they could to basically derail his game plan and found procedural stuff within the rules and were making his life miserable. And he started yelling at them, saying that they were being disrespectful. And they were like, we're just following the rules. Maybe you're the one who's disrespectful.
Ooh.
And a lot fell apart. But there's definitely a beef between the speaker and his flock.
Did we see his Louboutin shoe post and then the follow-up memes and counter posts that ensued from there? I mean, that is a beef worth
There was some Mean
into.
Girls stuff happening.
I got one more, and CityCast is familiar with this beef, but Downtown Neighbors v. Tilson Technologies micro-trenching.
Oh, I thought that was going to be your personal beef.
No, I have a better personal beef than that.
Oh, nice.
But I mean, it was very personal and it was very serious. Where Tilson and AT&T's Gigapower parent company were micro trenching and destroying downtown residential neighborhoods, and
I mean, literally destroying. They were physically busting up sewers, and people's houses were backing up with stuff, and they were destroying landscaping and creating hazards in the streets so people couldn't even
in people's
walk.
yards.
They were bad news.
It was terrible. And
how did that beef end up?
The neighbors got together and were very communicative with the city of Las Vegas about what our concerns were. And ultimately, Tilson Technologies went bankrupt and maybe mentioned that, not being able to figure out how to work with residents in Las Vegas, even though we were ready to work with them at every step of the way and were begging to communicate with them, were a part of their downfall. So it was actually a very happy story.
All right. So that wasn't your personal beef. You worked on that as an advocate for the community. But Patricia, what is your personal beef of 2025?
My personal beef of 2025 is drumroll. This Vegas punk band, punk something, called Tippy Elvis, going on stage multiple times this year. Always after 11 p.m. when I am definitely at home, snug as a bug. What is it?
Tippy Elvis, snug as a bug. Tippy Elvis is Dayvid Figler's band. He's the lead quote-unquote singer on that.
I'm personally offended by this beef.
This is my beef.
And this is a one-way beef.
Actually, what's it take to get you guys on stage before 8 o'clock, 9, 10?
Punks don't play at 4 p.m.
My band has a beef with all of our fan base because our fan base is very older, tilting with the exception of Patricia.
Wow,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm not that old. Okay,
are you?
With the exception
what
of
are you saying
Patricia.
about Patricia in this?
I said with the exception of Patricia, the majority of our fan base are basically geriatrics because we've been around for so long, and they are always complaining to us that we're going on so late. I'm already in bed.
Hit me with the matinee, something. Come on.
Maybe we'll hit in the
They want to be punk earlier. People want to be in bed.
Yeah.
All right, Figler, what's your personal beef?
My personal beef every year is the same beef. The wind. Go F yourself, wind. I hate the wind in this valley. It is not beneath my wings. Okay. It is a scourge.
I don't think that's changing. I don't think you can control that.
You know what? I would just pick go to Phoenix. That's another vibrant city that you could invade.
You go to Phoenix.
A lot less windy. That's
I'm not going to. I need the wind to just chill the hell out, and not chill either. I want it to just go away.
Okay.
Every time I'm in the middle of a windstorm, all I can think is we're not supposed to be here anyways. So this is on me.
I got to say, Sarah, feuds are just a part of Las Vegas life. They go back to the very beginning as where the town site was even going to be located. J.T. McWilliams versus, William Clark. The Las Vegas Sun versus the RJ. Kirk Kerkorian versus Howard Hughes. Steve Wynn versus Sheldon Adelson. I mean, Vegas loves a good feud.
Love a good feud. All right. Well, happy holidays, both y'alls, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Same to you.
Totally fun.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Hey, if you enjoyed this show, share it with a friend. And don't forget, subscribe to our morning newsletter. And hey, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.